Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 2. I am Francis Edate, coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakodwan. Let's take a look at the headlines. Federal government says Abuja-Kaduna train will not run till all kidnapped victims are free. Chairman TAF Media Group Tony Afia announces birth of new dialect-speaking radio, Tang 102.7 FM. Plus, China sets military drills close to Taiwan Island after a Pelosi visit. We will bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. First in the news today is a report that the federal government has confirmed that it approved the purchase of vehicles worth 1.4 billion naira for neighboring Niger Republic to tackle insecurity. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, gave the confirmation, explaining that providing intervention to the neighboring Niger Republic is not new and it is the prerogative of President Muhammadu Buhari who approved the purchase. The minister, who was speaking after the Federal Executive Council FEC meeting presided over by the president, added that the financial support, which is primarily for the purpose of enhancing capacity to protect the territory based on a request by the Nigerian government, is also in the best interest of the country. In the meantime, the federal government has said the Abuja-Kaduna rail line will not resume until all those kidnapped by bandits in March are rescued and reunited with their families. The Minister of Transportation, Muazu Sambo, who disclosed this during an inspection visit to the Idu and Kubwa train station in Abuja, said the federal government is deploying advanced technologies to rail services across the country to forestall similar security breaches. Recall that an Abuja-Kaduna train was attacked on March 28, leading to deaths and the abductions of more than 60 passengers. Although 37 victims have been released, about 35 passengers remain in the captivity of the bandits. Meanwhile, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SIRAP, has asked for the immediate refund of the 1.4 billion naira given to the Niger Republic for the purchase of official vehicles by President Muhammadu Buhari. SIRAP met the demand on its verified Twitter handle. Recall that Zainab Ahmed, Minister of Finance, had confirmed that the federal government approved 1.4 billion for the supply of vehicles to the Republic of Niger to help the country fight insecurity. We move now to the legislature, where the leadership of the Senate is meeting with the service chiefs over the security crisis in the country. Reports say the bipartisan closed-door meeting with the service chief is aimed at reviewing the current security strategies and discuss new solutions. Speaking at the commencement of the meeting, Senate President Ahmed Lawan said the security challenges have lingered and the situation is frightening, adding that there is nowhere to hide or go. He stressed that it is dire at this time to come up with an effective solution, as the crisis is dislocating where the heads of government is situated. Responding, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Rabo, who said a lot is being done to improve security, emphasized that the troops are still committed to the cause, adding that no one is leaving any stone unturned in addressing the problem. Present at the meeting are the Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Naval Staff, Chief of Air Staff, DG, DSS, and a representative of the National Security Advisor.
At our instance, as body of principal officers of the Senate, and there will be two segments to this meeting. The first is what we are going through now. DJ and I should have seen you. Our media friends will excuse us, and all other non-essential personnel who are here would also have to leave, so that we hold the Senate before we went to recess last week, Wednesday, today a week. We had discussions over the security situation of the country, but even before then, we've had several discussions over the security situation.
Meanwhile, as part of preparations for the 2023 general elections, the police has announced plans to offer nationwide training to its officers and men on election security management through a workshop to be done in collaboration with the experts and other security agencies as part of the IG's reform and upgrade agenda to strengthen and build the capacity of the police, particularly as the country heads into an important election year. Inspector General of Police Usman Al-Khali Baba said the leadership of the police has kick-started targeted the specialized efforts to enhance the capacity of its officers to meet the force's obligations in the national, international urgency quest of ensuring a fair, peaceful, secure and credible elections processes next year. The IGP noted that the election security management workshop slated for next month would feature sessions led by legal and security experts, including top officers of the armed forces, to provide lessons on the legal and the security framework guiding the roles and actions of the police and how to facilitate and maintain an inter-agency collaboration, including with the media, to ensure a hitch-free election exercise. We move to the judiciary, where Justice Daniel Oshagor of the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has fixed Friday for further hearing of the suit by an aspirant, Abdul Karim Shatu, against the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and one other. Shatu aspires to represent Ikorodu in the Federal House of Representatives, also joined Awesu Abdulaziz as a respondent in the suit. The plaintiff is praying the court for an order to restrain INEC from accepting or continuing to retain the name of the third respondent, Awesu Abdulaziz, as the PDP's candidate for Ikorodu Federal Constituency in its database. Shatu is also praying the court to declare that the nomination of Awesu Abdulaziz as the PDP candidate was not in line with the party's constitution and its guidelines for the primary election. Meanwhile, a court in the United Kingdom has adjourned the case involving the former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu till October 31st. Ekweremadu will be remanded in custody until the next adjourned date. Reports say United Kingdom-based actor was also accused of conniving with and his wife to traffic a homeless man into the UK to harvest his kidney for their daughter. The 50-year-old Dr. Obinna Obeta from Southwark, South London, is charged in Slavery Act. Obeta, who appeared at Bexley Magistrate Court on 13 July, is charged with arranging the travel of 21-year-old Davy Opo from Nigeria to the UK. He is also accused of conspiring with the lawmakers to arrange or facilitate the travel of the man with a view of having him exploited through organ harvesting. And back here, the chairman and CEO TAF and Associates, Tony Afia, has announced the birth of the first privately owned dialect-speaking radio station in Akwa Ibom State, thanks to 102.7 FM. We now bring you the special broadcast by our CEO, Tony Afia.
It is my great pleasure to address you all, and I am particularly very pleased to be able to once again address those of you that have been with us from inception, as well as those of you who are new to the Planet Radio and Spectrum Television platforms. As an ardent listener and follower of the TAF Media Group, I am certain you have observed the frequent interruptions in our transmission and sometimes non-operation for some time now. This is as a result of the devastating damage caused by a massive thunder strike on our installations in the Spectrum TV, Planet radio stations, and on our power generating plants. This happened a few months after the completion of the periodic reinforcement of our earthing system. We want to very sincerely and unreservedly tender our apologies for all the inconveniences and the quality infotainment you've missed due to the unfortunate lightning incident. The wise man said, "It is not how many times you fall, but how courageous and determined you are to get up, dust yourself and move on, that matters." So we have left no stone unturned in our effort to return to full capacity transmission. The challenges we have faced in the past few weeks afforded us the time to reflect on the goodwill shown to us by our listeners, viewers, clients, and partners. So I convey here the sentiment of immense appreciation shared by the board, management, and staff of TAF Media Group to our esteemed listeners and viewers for your unwavering support, loyalty, and sustained patronage. You all are truly the reason for our existence. Our years of operating in a sector such as ours that is constantly and rapidly evolving is an achievement that we are particularly proud of. We are honored to be here, and even more so to have done it on the back of our consistent, strong values of discipline and high-quality service, all the while raising our profile and prominence in the industry. Esteemed listeners and viewers, recall that Planet Radio came alive when people least expected it. When it did, well-meaning individuals in the state proposed that the vision of establishing the first privately owned and indigenous radio stations was a burden shared by many, but actualized first by TAF and Associate. In the same vein, and as part of our continued effort to get into closer contact with the people through our wider coverage of radio and programming, I announce to you the introduction and commencement of an entirely indigenous language radio station into the TAF Media Group brands, effective Monday, August 1st, 2022. For us at TAF Media Group, the emergence of Tang 102.7 FM, as the station is so called, is particularly thrilled and momentous, as it is aimed at catering for the information, education, and entertainment needs of the mass of our indigenous populace that hitherto have not been catered for with our English language broadcast on Planet Radio. Our objective is to build a profitable, sustainable, and contributing company for the enlightenment and development of our people. And we know that in order to achieve this, the happiness and satisfaction of our teeming listeners and viewers is the priority. Tangsio 102.7 FM will be broadcast exclusively in Ibibio, Anang, Oro, and Efik languages. And in doing this, we will continue to uphold the best standards of professionalism in the conduct of our business, even as we will continue to push for more innovative ways of serving the people better. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to members of the board and the entire staff of TAF Media Group who have been doing their very best in their respective positions, especially to the engineering staff who are devoting their effort to ensuring smooth operations in spite of the challenging times. This for me is profound and indispensable for this new leap. Above all, I gratefully acknowledge the support and sustained patronage of the government of Akwa Ibom State, clients and partners, and once again, the goodwill of our listeners and viewers. We hope and believe that Tang 102.7 will be of immense benefit to our people as it will help expand the space for social political engagement, entertainment, and the advancement of our dear state. Definitely, Tang will be a greater envy of our competition. Finally, TAF Media Group sincerely appreciates the good people of Ibiakuran for their unceasing support in ensuring that our assets are secured. May the Almighty God continue to bless TAF Media Group, Ibiakuran people, Akwa Ibom State, and the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Meanwhile, the Uyo sentenced Uduak Frank Akpan to death by hanging for the murder of job seeker in Newbong Umoren, while acquitting and discharging his father, Frank Akpan, and sister, Basi Awan. Recall that the convicted Uduak Akpan had lured the deceased in Newbong Umoren under the guise of offering her employment, but later raped, murdered, and buried her in a shallow grave. Reports say after hearing his sentence, Uduak made an attempt to escape from the courtroom, adding that it was, however, foiled by men of the Nigerian Correctional Service. We move now to Africa, where Senegal's opposition has called for the suspension of the publication of the result of the Sunday's legislative election to examine its complaints over alleged irregularities and fraud. Recall that both the government and opposition camps are claiming victory after Sunday's vote to renew the 165 seats in the National Assembly, which is largely controlled by the president, which is the last before the presidential elections in 2024, were an important for SAL after local elections in January cities, including the capital Dakar, Zunchingzhou in the south, and Thais in the west. On the foreign scene, the United States U.S. Senate has voted to approve the accession of Finland and Sweden to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, with a resolution gaining the support of 95 senators. A single dissenting vote came from Republican Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri, who argued that there should be less focus on security in Europe and much more on the threat from China. Recall that U.S. President Joe Biden has strongly supported the accession of Sweden and Finland to NATO and preferred the matter to the Senate for consideration back in July. The vote in Washington followed a vote in France's National Assembly earlier on Wednesday, in which 209 deputies voted in favor of Finnish and Swedish membership, while 46 voted against. Reports say before enter into force, Finland and Sweden must be ratified by all 13 NATO member states, 2/3 of which have already given their approval for the new members. Still on the foreign scene, China has given a review of what might be coming for Taiwan by sending 27 warplanes into the island's air defense identification zone, a buffer of airspace commonly referred to as an ADIS, according to Taiwan's defense ministry. The Chinese defense ministry released a map of 6 zones around the island where it plans to conduct air and sea exercises and long-range live-fire exercises as part of what they describe as a blockade, warning ships and aircraft to stay out of the areas during the drills. Say the exercise areas announced by Beijing extend well into Taiwan's ADIS and in some cases encroach on the island's territorial airspace and area recognized by international law as extending 12 nautical miles. And still to come in the news, to face Cristiano Ronaldo's supporters in friendly. To stay with us. much. Thanks for staying tuned. On the business news, the world's biggest oil producers have agreed to raise production slightly in a bid to help ease high prices. Non-members of oil producers group called Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries OPEC, which includes Russia, agreed yesterday to add 100,000 more barrels per day to the market from September. Reports say the decision is a blow to leaders who had called for production to be ramped up, adding that the latest production output increase is at a much slower pace than in recent months. In Hull, the Assistant General Manager, Informal Sector Department, National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Sikiru Salawadun, has said the national and state registers would be used to determine beneficiaries of the Vulnerable Group Fund. The Vulnerable Group Fund, created in the newly signed National Health Insurance Authority Act 2022, is to help provide free health insurance for vulnerable Nigerians. Salawuddin disclosed this during the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund webinar series. The NHIA official stated further that the Vulnerable Group Fund is expected to help provide health insurance for over 83 million vulnerable Nigerians, adding that it would assist in achieving universal health coverage for all Nigerians. Meanwhile, according to the World Health Organization, universal health coverage ensures that all persons have access to the health services they need when and where they need them, without financial hardship. The World Health Authority has also pledged support for the implementation of the Vulnerable Group Funds. And now to sports, where the Super Eagles of Nigeria will take on former European champions Portugal in an international friendly in September. The three-time African champions were earlier scheduled to face the Djiboutis of Guinea-Bissau in the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers in September, but the double-header has been shifted to March 2023 by the Confederation of African Football, TAF. Reports say NFF wants to take advantage of the FIFA window and make sure the Super Eagles were kept busy following the postponement of the qualifiers. On our entertainment news, veteran film stars Cynthia Okereke and Clemson Cornell have been freed by gunmen who abducted them on their way from a movie set on Friday in Enugu State. Spokesman of Actors Guild of Nigeria, AJN, Mona Lisa Chinda, confirmed this, noted that the news was broken to them by the national president of the Actors Guild of Nigeria, Ejire Emeka Rollers. In a statement, the AJN president urged members to be security conscious on and off film sets and take precautionary measures. Reports say the veteran film stars were released unhurt. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You've been watching Spectrum News at 2. I am Francis Edit. Do have a good afternoon.